Hi guys, Vincent van Genechten again. I've already did two videos on Juventus this summer about the mercato until now and what's going to happen next. Now I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about their squad and how it currently evolves with the new homegrown Serie A rules, which are which is uh, which is important to know, of course, that from this season on, um, Serie A clubs need to have they have to register, or they can register a 25-man player list, and of those 25, four players need at least four players, of course, um, have to be brought up at an Italian academy for 3 years between the age of 16 and 25. So it can be any Italian academy, but they have to do it. They have to been brought there. They have to be homegrown for 3 years at an Italian academy between the age of 16 and 25. The same. There have to be another four players included that have to be brought up in the club's own academy. So it has to be the Juventus academy that has brought up these players, which so really the really homegrown players, which means that 8 of 25 players need to be homegrown. That is, of course, a big problem for some teams, like Fiorentina, for example. We're going to have a bit of problems. Most of the Italian top clubs, of course, because they buy more players. It's more they buy more players, they sell more players. They can buy foreign players more easily than smaller clubs. Um, so they give, which is of course a pity, but they give homegrown players or youth players less chances to really develop into a starter or even a bench player at the club. But today, so let's talk about Juventus. It's Tarek Katib, who is at ADP1113 on Twitter. He today posted a squad list of Juventus on Twitter with actually the homegrown players and what is needed to be done to complete the 25 squad list. And it's for me, and I think it's for you also, interesting to resume this, to go through this, and to talk about what is needed to happen. So in goal we have Buffon, Neto, and Audero. At the back we have Barzagli, Bonucci, Chiellini, Benatia, Rugani, Evra, Sandro, Lichtsteiner, and Alves. Talk about the defensive lineup. In midfield you have Marquisio, Khedira, Pjanic, Lemina, Pogba still at the moment. According to Gazzetta, he's landed in Manchester, but there are many doubts about that report. So Pogba is there. If Pogba goes, there is the replacement that goes in that spot. And up front you have Mandzukic, Dybala, Higuain, Piaka, and for now still Simone Zaza or his replacement. And at the moment there are also Sturaro, Asamoah, Hernandez, Pereira, and Marrone who could be listed. At the moment there are, in the first 22 I named until Zaza, there are 3 club trained players. So the four players who were brought up in a Italian academy, in any Italian academy between the ages of 16 and 25, that isn't going to be a problem. It's mostly the 4 Juve trained players, the really homegrown players who are in their own academy, which is the hardest thing to do. At the moment there are 3, meaning Audero, Rugani and Marchisio. All hail Marchisio, of course, the real Juve boss. Then another one is Marrone, who is 26 at the moment, and it's the biggest reason why he is going to stay at Juventus this season. He's played at Carpi, he's played at Verona. He had a big career in front of him when he was 19, 20 years old, but his talent never really materialized. But due to the new rules, I think he's going to stay at Juventus. Because well, first because he's home, because he's club trained, and second, he can also play midfield. He can play at the back, which he has done this pre-season. So he's pretty versatile in a last resort scenario. He's able to play. He's played in Serie A. So, and then of course you're probably gonna say, what about Rolando Mandragora? Well, that's of course the catch, and which is also why a guy like Gabigol would be very interesting for Juventus. Players under 21 don't have to be registered. On the 25-man squad list, they can just play without being registered on the squad list of 25. So Mandragora isn't listed, Gabigol wouldn't be listed, which makes them very interesting to have. But Marrone is 26, so it has to be registered, but he's club trained. Meaning Marrone would be the 23rd player. So there are two spots left, which is going to be a race between Hernanes, Sturaro, Asamoah, and Pereira. Two of those four players are probably going to go or have to go if you take into account that Zaza is going to stay, or Juventus are going to replace Zaza with another striker, and they're going to replace Pogba with one midfielder, which is going to happen. So two players between Sturaro, Asamoah, Pereira, and Hernanes have to leave Juventus because they can't register more than 25 players, and none of those is club trained at Juventus. So who is that going to be? I did it a little bit. I covered it a little bit in my previous video. Of course, Hernanes. I mean, the first guy to leave, who has to leave, is Hernanes, in my opinion. He doesn't have value in this team. He doesn't have. He isn't Juve material at this moment, or this. He has been a pretty decent regista in Serie A with Lazio. At Inter he was okay, but at this moment in his career he isn't a Juventus type or Juventus caliber player, so he has to go. There's interest from Benfica, from Valencia. Juve want 8 million. If someone pays 6 million for him, I would say just let him go, which saves also 3 million per year salary wise, so he has to go. Then of course there's Sturaro, Asamoah, Pereira. You could make a case for Sturaro if you get a guy like Matuidi, because Sturaro is a runner, he's a hard worker, he's a warrior, but he's very bad in possession. He showed it a couple of times last season. I mean, I like Sturaro because of his mentality. But he's not a great player. I think there are a set of many players who can be like him, but I would keep him because he's still young. He loves Juventus. He's getting his chances. He always works hard. He's Italian, so that's also a big reason. So I would keep him. Then Asamoah. Once again, I was skeptic about Asamoah. I wanted him to leave due to his injury history, but when he's fit, he could be a very solid backup to Marchisio and Khedira to those 6 and 8 position in midfield. So then it comes to Pereira, who reportedly doesn't want to leave Juventus. He has blocked every move away to Watford, to Zenit. He has blocked every move away from Juventus, and he wants to prove Allegri he is up for the task or up for the challenge at Juventus, but I don't think he's going to play much. He's still valuable at this moment in his career. He can deliver between 15 and 20 million euros, so I think Juve should really push him to go. Maybe in a deal for Witsel, which could be maybe in a deal for Matuidi, who knows, or for Herrera. But I think Pereira is not a bad player, but I think he just has to go because, like I said, 2 of Sturara, Asamoah Hernanes and Pereira have to go due to the new rules, and we can't register them all. So I hope Pereira and especially Hernanes are leaving. Then something about, people have asked me this a couple of times, about Yuri Tielemans, the 18 or is he 19 already? Tielemans from Anderlecht. He's 19, turned 19 on May 7. He's a great talent. I really like him. I see him play every week here in Belgium with Anderlecht. He had a difficult season last year because he fell in and out of favor with coach Besnik Hazi, but he's left as the German coach now, which is René Weiler, who I believe will get the best out of Tielemans. He has already shown he has played Tielemans much more higher now, more as a trequartista than the last 2 seasons. Tielemans was more a somewhat of a hybrid box-to-box or regista player, not really sure what he was playing at Anderlecht, but now he's playing at the 10 position, and that really suits him. Offensively, he's a great passer. He really has that vision that you need to be a great passer. His shot technique is very well. He scores a lot, not a lot, but he scores regularly with shots from outside the box. He scored one in the Champions League qualifiers against Rostov, which Anderlecht eventually lost, but it was a great goal by Tielemans once again. He scored a couple of class goals last season also. I think he would be a very good talent for Juventus, but I don't think Juve are chasing him at the moment because they bought Mandragora. They also bought Stefano Sensi together with Sassuolo, which are players which also are young talents in midfield, and I don't think Tielemans is going to come for Juve, especially to Juve, especially because Anderlecht are demanding at least 20 million euros for him. Is he worth it at his age? I would give it to him because I believe he's got it all to become a star at a top club. But I believe it's way too soon to get him. If he goes, I hope he goes to a team like Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany, who play good football at a high level. They also play European football. Maybe Champions League also, again next season. Juventus played Mönchengladbach last season twice in the group stages of the Champions League, and it's just a good team to play, and they play good football. Tielemans would fit right in, and I think it would benefit him more to just take a smaller step forward than now to Juventus, who are not going to pay 25 million for a 19-year-old. So that's that. So this was my 3rd video. I hope it was a bit interesting because there have been some questions, some stuff about these homegrown new rules in Serie A, and I think it was fun and interesting to cover it. So if you have any questions, just tweet me at VVGenichten on Twitter, or just post a comment below the video here. So ciao, Forza Juve.